Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Advistics. John here. I am at my buddy's house, Justin, and he is the proud owner of a Yamaha T7. And if you know anything about adventure bikes, you know about the T7. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take off this stock exhaust and we're going to go ahead and install this Black Widow for sound and weight saving. So stay tuned. Okay, let's hear this thing in stock sound form. Okay, the tools for this job, Justin's going to tell us what you need to get the job done.
Okay guys, for this job, you're going to need a 17 millimeter open end, a 12 millimeter open end, a T30, a 6 millimeter Allen, 4 millimeter Allen. You'll need an 8 millimeter socket. You'll need a 10 millimeter socket, and I recommend doing a deep 12 millimeter socket, and then your ratchet set and an extension. The kit will come with a lambda extension for your O2 sensor and your exhaust paste for sealing the exhaust.
This is something else you bought separate in order to work with the Black Widow exhaust. What is this about?
So I also got the Camel ADV products high exhaust mount, where we'll be taking and mounting the exhaust up closer to the seat to the bike, so when we drop it, it doesn't, or if we drop it, it doesn't ruin our exhaust mount, rub into your swing arm and ruin your swing arm because it's a softer aluminum versus the stainless. Okay, the first step to uninstalling your exhaust is we're going to take off the bash plate. It has 4 bolts. You're going to find 8 millimeter here and 8 millimeter here. We've already uninstalled one of them, and the same thing on the exact same spots on the other side. So we're just going to go ahead and start that now. And again, there will be 2 more back here in these holes that'll go right there. For the second part, if we can get right under here, there is a 12 millimeter bolt on the bottom side here. And we are just going to want to unscrew this 12 millimeter bolt down here. The nut will be stationary, built into the Yamaha exhaust, so we won't need to hold that nut. For the next part, we're going to be taking the header bolts off, and you'll need an extension. I'm using an impact and our 12 millimeter deep socket. You don't have to remove the radiator or anything. You actually just go right from the headers up. You can find them right on the front side. And there should be one on each side of each header. I could do all this from one side, but I forgot to mention you're going to need an 8 millimeter hex, and that is for the bolt that holds the silencer on. And on the back side here, it'll be a 12 millimeter regular old nut, like so. And just blast.
Ooh, O2 sensor.
O2 sensor.
Everybody forgets the O2 sensor, don't they?
There's going to be a 17 millimeter open end, and we are just going to break that loose. Now, before we unscrew all of that, we are going to take our T30. We're going to remove this side panel here, which you'll have 3 bolts for. 1 at the bottom, and then 2 up here at the top. And as well as these twist. There's going to be 3 of these on the inside as well. They're just a 1/4 turn bolt that'll pop out like rivets on the inside plastic here. And then this panel just slides backwards and up and off. I set mine up to the side. This panel here, this will have a 4 millimeter Allen bolt here.
So you've uninstalled these already?
Yes,
okay.
And it also has a clip right here. I've broken it. So that's all you'll need to remove. You can leave this bolt on so we can remove that lambda. If you look right on the underside here, it has a little clip. I use a very tiny flathead. So there's a little clip right there. You're just gonna press down on that and give it a pull.
Oh, that was
like
easy.
So. And then from there we can unscrew the O2 sensor.
Yeah, because you reuse this with the new exhaust.
Yes, we're going to reuse this O2 sensor. And again, that's a 17 millimeter. And just pop it and unscrew. Do not try and unscrew this while it's still attached. You will ruin your wires. And we're done.
Okay, Justin disconnected the whole exhaust. Now he's going to pull it up, and we're going to put it on kind of this scale we got over here just to see the difference in weight.
So the scale's not perfectly zeroed, but we're close enough.
We get a rough idea what's going on here.
So the full exhaust, we're looking at around 17 pounds-ish.
Oh yeah.
Right around 17 pounds.
So you can do some bicep curls with this and really get a good
nice
workout.
strong.
Yeah.
Okay, for our stainless exhaust, we have some parts from Black Widow, which is out of the UK, and we have some parts from Camel ADV, which is out of Canada. So from Black Widow, we have our header tubes for 1 and 2 cylinders. We have our downpipe. We also have our silencer. For each silencer, they're gonna have a different sound. So if you're looking for the similar sound for this bike that I have, this is a 300 millimeter oval exhaust, and the model number is here, so you can find it on their website. Now for Camel, we have just a high exhaust pipe that will relocate our exhaust. Instead of going out to the side of the bike, it'll tuck it up in kind of by your seat. And it comes with this link pipe here and this bracket that we will be doing some fabrication to make fit our bike. We're going to start by installing the header tubes. We're going to start with cylinder 1. They will be labeled on the exhaust whenever you order it. And you just put it up in there. You're just going to push it up in there. There is an exhaust gasket which we've already installed. They will also come with your kit. And you're gonna install this loosely at first, and then once everything's put together, then you'll tighten everything up. I've found that the easiest way to do this is just stick the header tube in there and then just kind of wiggle your bracket on and find a way to hold it on while you screw on one nut at a time. This is where exhaust paste is going to come in. This is going to create a seal going from the headers to your downpipe. And it's just a little glob, and you want to run a thin layer around the inside of the pipe there. And thin layer around the inside. And slide these in. Just, you know, acts as a lubricant as well as a sealant. Make sure they're nice and tight. Just 12 millimeter. I need that nut out of here. We're going to go ahead and put the bolt in. Again, we're going to keep this loose so we're able to make some adjustments as we need them. Slide the bolt through and just put this nut on. Nice and loose. We can make adjustments as we need. I personally like to go ahead and just put the springs on while we're at this point. Just to go ahead, because it's already creating that seal in there with the gasket material. We can use a hook into that spring, just like that, and the other side. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put my O2 sensor in, just run the cable up and out of my way so I don't forget or worry about it later. Have to worry about it later. Just go ahead and thread it in. Again, I'm just gonna thread this in by hand. We're gonna do all our tightening up from the headers back once we get to that point. There's clips along the way that go along the frame right here and right here. There's one here and then one as you go up. Fold that in that clip. the beginning installation part of our Camel ADV pipe, I'm just going to go ahead, and there's a gasket that will come with this Camel ADV pipe. I can't take it out of here because I've already pressed it in, and it forms to the pipe itself, and it could ruin it if we remove it. So we're just going to go ahead and slide this in right here on our link, or our bottom pipe, our down pipe, and just tighten this up by hand again. We don't want to make anything super tight right now. All right. If you're doing the Camel ADV high exhaust mount, it'll come with this. This is a measuring device to show you where you're wanting to make your cuts on your exhaust bracket in order to add the mount that they provided. And so what you do is it faces like this with this hook downward, and you're going to start here and just work your way up until it doesn't go up anymore. And those are your measurements. You're going to make a measurement there and a measurement there, and then we'll cut from there. I suggest using a Sawzall. Corey used a grinder on his video, and I found that to be very difficult. So my suggestion is use a Sawzall. Save yourself a lot of time and grinding. We're going to be installing our mount for our exhaust, our new mount, the Camel ADV Products mount. The first step to this is there is these little set screws. You want to set them first before you put it on, because if you try and set them after you've installed this, you will strip these screws. So we went ahead and set them so the divots come out a little bit and they'll be able to pinch our bars. Actually, let's just make this one a little deeper. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and put this on. We're going to put this on the outside. It's going to go right into those grooves. There's these little grooves. They will go right on to where you cut. This will go on the back side, and on the back side there will be 3 of these hex bolts. This is a size 6 hex. And I start with the middle one. Then we will set the outside ones, and then we will set them in kind of a star pattern. There's not really a way to do a star pattern, but I'll do one side, then the other side, then the middle, and then work our way until they're all the way tight. And then I'll go back to the bottom one again and just kind of tighten these as as they get tighter and tighter, and then we'll finish off with the middle one. So the next part is this rubber grommet. It was a part of your original exhaust. So it came out of this part here, this rubber grommet, or bushing, whatever you want to call it. You're going to have to get this into here. It's going to take a little work, fun, tenacity, everything you need.
Prayer.
Prayer.
Yeah.
We're in there for the most part.
Yeah.
And for our last piece of this exhaust, we're going to be attaching our silencer to our link pipe, which, as you can tell, brings it up dramatically. First, we need to add some exhaust paste. Make sure we get it wrapped all the way around. A little too much, that's okay, doesn't matter, you can always wipe it off. Just make sure you move quickly, otherwise it will stay. Can't do it without this.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and bolt this up to the bracket itself. This is from the stock exhaust. It is kind of like a little spacer. Inside we have a washer. It's gonna go through your clamp for the exhaust. And on the back side here, we have a spacer, a washer, and a locking nut. I want to make sure we're not cross-threading this as well. We just want to finger tighten it, make sure it goes on nice and smooth.
So everything's still loose, so you can make final adjustments and get everything in the right place.
Some of this, like the 51 millimeter, will slip down here before you tighten up this clamp. So I just had to move everything up a bit so I could clamp everything down and it would fit nice and tight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and partially tighten some of this stuff. So we're going to start with the headers, make sure those headers are nice and tight up into your exhaust ports, and you'll work down to your link pipe. Well, your link pipe should already be, there's no tightening that comes with the link pipe. So we'll do headers, then we'll move back to the link pipe and down pipe, and then up to your silencer. You don't want to over tighten one side versus the other, so make sure you're going nice and even. I don't have a torque wrench, so we're going to use what we can. You also don't want to over tighten these. If you break a stud, you're screwed. So as the mechanic world goes, just give it a couple uggas.
Okay, Justin is tightening everything up. The only things we got to do left is put the skid plate back on, add the Lambda extension cable for the O2 sensor, and then we owe you some audio to see if we can, well, we know you're going to hear the difference on this new Black Widow exhaust system.
It's a little hard to see, but our OEM Lambda cable just comes up right here and stops at the back of, or our O2 sensor cable comes right here and stops at the back of the radiator. Black Widow offers an extension with their kit to be able to extend this so we can run our O2 sensor. And it's really simple install. All you do is grab your cable, you have your port the same thing that it was with the OEM side. You just connect your male to female. And we're gonna run it up and it just clips in. There's a little clip right here on the bottom side and it'll just slide into home. And there we go. Now you can do your own cable management. I'm gonna tuck mine down, just kind of get it out of the way. And that's it. Other than that, you put your sides back on, you're good to go. I'm not like most people. I don't make these super tight. I'll just come through, do them hand tight, and then I'll give them maybe a quarter turn. These are really convenient though, so you just push them in, twist once, they pop right in, and they just hold the plastic together. Onto the rear. It's not super easy in flip-flops. I think we were about right here. Black Widow with the Camel Adventure high exhaust. This has the DB killer in it.
Even with the DB killer in there, man, that sounds so much better. Okay, so Justin is taking out the DB killer now. You get a little bit more throatier sound.
And to remove the DB killer is really easy. You just pull that one bolt out, get some needle nose, just grab on and wiggle out. And that's it. Set that right there. And this is no DB killer. Crazy.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
I know the camera's not going to pick it up, but it sounds absolutely insane. Throaty, deep. The only thing I can compare it to is if you've seen a Royal Jordanian video with the Nuda 900R. It sounds just about like that.
How much was this setup?
The Black Widow exhaust, headers, downpipe. The silencer was roughly $400. Camel ADV was also an additional $400. So I spent about $800 on this exhaust.
So for $800, you can make your bike sound like the most aggressive, mean off-roader out there.
Oh yeah.
And putting it on the Tenere T7 is just cherry on top.
Oh yeah.
Any improvement in performance, or it's really? I mean, you get weight savings, but
weight savings. I've noticed throttle response is better, but I have not tuned it yet. I imagine that will get better, and I'll increase the amount of horsepower when I tune it.
And the thing we forgot to mention was we did weigh this as well, compared to the stock, and we're saving about 7 pounds.
Roughly 7 pounds.
7 pounds in saving, and this is not titanium. This is stainless steel, and still saving 7 pounds.
Yep.
All right, Justin. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun.
It was.
See you guys next time.
We want to keep these loose for now. I think I installed these backwards.
You serious?
I think so, yeah. Because it doesn't look like this link pipe fits in here.
That's why you hand tighten them.
Yep. Yep, you want to test fit first. This is why.
Don't worry, I'll make you look good.
Nice.
Nobody will even know until the blooper part comes out.
Oh, yeah.